Senate committee passes measure to remove China's developing country status. Xi will not rule forever. China could enter democratic world. Taiwan presidential candidate. Afraid of talent being poached, Microsoft to move top AI experts from China to Canada. Legislation proposed to ban Federal Aviation Administration from using China-made drones. A U.S. Senate committee passed legislation on June 8 to remove China's developing nation status in select international organizations, reflecting the country's focus on competing with the Asian power. Reuters reported that the Senate Foreign Relations Committee unanimously approved the Ending China's Developing Nation Status Act, which would require the Secretary of State to seek a change of China's developing nation status in international organizations. Lawmakers said such designation could grant certain nations special privileges or flexibilities within specific treaties or organizations. The House of Representatives passed a similar measure by 415-0 in March. The Secretary of State has to actively work towards changing the designation of the People's Republic of China from a developing country to an upper-middle-income country, high-income country, or developed country in international organizations that involve both the U.S. and China. The bill also calls for developing a mechanism to facilitate this change. The bill would direct the top diplomat to work to ensure that the People's Republic of China does not receive preferential treatment or assistance within the organization as a result of it having the status of a developing country. Despite being the world's second-largest economy, trailing only the United States, China continues to be designated as a developing country by specific international organizations, including the United Nations. Congresswoman Young Kim, the bill's sponsor, expressed her thoughts in March when the House approved the legislation, stating that China's economy size is second only to that of the United States. The United States is treated as a developed country, so should the People's Republic of China. The U.S. is also treated as a high-income country in treaties and international organizations, so China should also be treated as a developed country. She added, however, the People's Republic of China is classified as a developing country, and they're using the status to game the system and hurt countries that are truly in need. Speaking to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan on June 8, Ko Wen-jae, nominee for Taiwan's People's Party, said that Xi Jinping wouldn't rule China forever, so there's hope that universal values and soft power will eventually bring China into the democratic world. Nikkei cited Ko, saying, if we believe in universal values, then why do we think China will ever have democracy and freedom? Ko quotes former Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao as saying in 2010 that China could not prevent political changes forever. Wen said, if there is no guarantee or reform of the political system, then results obtained from the reform of the economic system may be lost, and the goal of modernization cannot be achieved. Ko said that if elected, he would seek dialogue with Beijing to maintain peace while at the same time ensuring Taiwan has sufficient defensive capabilities to deter threats from China's regime effectively. Ko's comments come at a time when China's regime is expected to intensify its aggression against Taiwan ahead of the presidential election set to take place in a few months. Ko criticized the ruling Democratic Progressive Party for completely distrusting China's regime, while the Kuomintang was too respectful of Beijing. He said neither of these parties could resolve the current disputes with the force ruling China. Beijing-based artificial intelligence researchers of Microsoft Research Asia are applying for visas to move to Canada amid geopolitical tensions. As reported by Financial Times, MSRA is moving its top AI experts from China's capital to its institute in Vancouver. This move threatens to gut an essential training ground for China's tech talent. 4 people familiar with the plan said the decision could affect 20 to 40 staff. They described the so-called Vancouver plan as a response to heightened political tensions between the U.S. and China. The plan also plays a defensive role in preventing top talent from being poached by domestic tech groups desperate for AI researchers to develop homegrown versions of OpenAI's ChatGPT. 2 MSRA researchers claimed they had received recent job offers from Chinese internet firms, but have rejected the approaches and are applying for visas to move to Vancouver instead. According to one of the researchers, although Microsoft has strong ties with China, it is risky to have its best researchers here, especially ones working in machine learning. He added, there is a risk of talent being poached by Chinese companies or employees being harassed by authorities. We have discussed these risks in internal meetings. Another Microsoft researcher applying for a visa to Canada said if they move to a third nation outside of America and China, they might be able to regain the vibrant tech discussion from the old days. Microsoft said they are setting up a new lab in Vancouver that will be organizationally aligned with MSRA and designed to better collaborate with local engineering teams. Experts from around the world will staff this new facility. Any decision to relocate top AI researchers risks sparking ire in Beijing, which has attempted to entice high-tech Chinese researchers working overseas back to the mainland through lucrative grants and prestigious teaching positions.
Two senators proposed legislation on June 8th to prevent the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, from purchasing or using drones made in China. The proposal from Senator Marsha Blackburn and Chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Senator Mark Warner, also bans the FAA from using federal funds to support foreign drone firms from China and several other countries. Blackburn highlighted that the FAA currently uses over a dozen drones manufactured in China. Reuters reported that the ban also applies to drones made in hostile countries, such as Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and Venezuela. Blackburn said, taxpayer dollars should never fund drones manufactured in regions that are hostile toward the U.S. She noted that the bill helps curb the importation of drones produced by our adversaries, keeping our nation safer, and encouraging manufacturing here at home. The FAA is also required to replace any Chinese-made drone with an American or Allied-built drone within 1 year. Last week, Senator Marco Rubio urged the U.S. Capitol Police to stop using drones built by Chinese drone manufacturer Autel Robotics due to national security concerns. In 2020, the Commerce Department placed export restrictions on DJI, a leading drone manufacturer, alleging its involvement in the oppression of China's Uyghur minority or helping the Chinese regime's military. Recently, Representatives Elise Stefanik and Mike Gallagher introduced a bill to include DJI on the Federal Communications Commission's covered list, preventing its operation on U.S. communications infrastructure. The lawmakers said that Chinese-based company DJI accounts for more than 50% of drone sales in the U.S. and is widely favored by public safety agencies. In 2020, the U.S. Interior Department grounded its fleet of about 800 drones manufactured in China.